Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much indeed for the invitation to talk to you this morning. We've got about 15 minutes, which is not a lot of time to cover the contents of this document, which is the Williams-Shapps White Paper on Rail, which was published a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to pick out three main themes, if I may. The first will be the importance of network. The second will be the critical nature of long-term planning for rail. And then the third will be the balance between public and private sector involvement. But firstly, a very quick background on me and why I got involved in the rail review at all. My background in transport is actually mainly airline related, obviously different, but I'd submit that there are some things that rail could learn from airlines, such as the development of retail over the last 20 or 30 years in air travel, which rail, as I say, could learn from. I've also been involved in the board of Transport for London, so saw some involvement in trains directly there. But my background generally is with innovation, with Apple Computer, and with retail with companies like John Lewis. So I suspect I don't have as much direct experience of working in rail as some of you listening today. Suffice it to say that the rail review was not solely my work. In fact, the reverse. It was the product of two consultation exercises and the direct involvement and engagement with both the public and rail industry. It involved more than 750 consultations right across Great Britain. The review itself is broad, and as I say, I can only cover off a couple of themes. But equally, I don't want to confine my comments to rail, as I know that many of you are interested in a broader transport context than just rail itself. So that brings me to my first theme, which is network. As some of you will appreciate if you're familiar with airlines, network optimization is a key to success, not only in maximizing revenue generation, but also in providing customers with something that they truly value, the ability to move both easily and everywhere. One of my light bulb moments in the review, if not the single largest moment, was listening to passengers talking about how much they valued rail as a network. Indeed, in the 750 or so consultations we made, it was the single largest area of standout in customer interest, and that was mirrored equally by the industry itself. As the network had become increasingly busy and interdependent, the industry had come to recognise that fragmentation and a lack of accountability to make things work as a network had been lost and was holding back the sector. The obvious example of that, of course, is the May 2018 timetabling fiasco, when the railways came to a halt. And indeed, that was one of the aspects of why the review started. It wasn't the only aspect, but it was a direct consequence of that timetabling fiasco. So at the heart of the white paper is a bringing together, or I'd rather say a bringing back actually, the whole rail system to run it as a single integrated system with common goals. This was important not only to continue safety, but to create greater efficiency in the running and operation of the railways. The white paper also responds to the need to create accountability by putting somebody in charge. This is what many people call the fat controller, the operational guiding mind of the railways themselves. But there is more to it than that. Bringing back rail as a whole system will also support greater innovation and the coordination of both central and local needs. So what should you expect over time? Over time, you should expect to see the whole system running together and coming together under a new brand and identity, Great British Railways. This will act to simplify the current confusing mass of tickets, standardise mobile and online ticketing, and to work on the coordination with other forms of transport. Anything, if you like, from buses to bikes. In other words, to create journeys simple for customers to understand and simple for them to purchase, the heart of a good railway. Creating a single network view and system creates a better operation and customer proposition. But of equal importance is the need for a long-term vision and a strategic plan. Within today's structure, no organisation has either the financial, technical or operational authority to oversee the design, the investment and the management of major changes necessary to run our railways, or to respond to the priorities set by customers and the public. Ultimately, of course, this is always the role of government. And at the end of the day, it is government that needs to balance off investment and taxpayer subsidies against the priority for running a railway efficiently and the interests of both the economy and of the passengers that transfer and move about on it. The white paper contains a commitment to a 30-year strategy which will provide clear, long-term plans for transforming our railways. Work on that has actually already started with the commissioning of what's called a whole industry strategic plan, or the acronym WISP, which will be ready by 2022. As well as looking at long-term investment, climate resilience will be a priority. There will be an environmental plan which will set out clear commitments as to carbon emissions, air pollution, biodiversity, waste, water usage, noise and vibration. Accordingly, bringing together rail as a whole system, looking for government to agree a long-term 30-year plan. All of this sounds like renationalisation of the railways. Indeed, in some quarters, I've seen that the white paper is seen as doing just that. If you look at it today, actually, a lot of the rail is actually nationalised anyway. But the truth of the white paper is anything but. Bringing these things together is, if anything, an opportunity to reduce complexity. The railways have become too complicated, too confusing for passengers, and too expensive to run and to improve. Moreover, that complexity had led to short-termism in much of the investment thinking, and it had stifled innovation. And this is the real opportunity ahead. To bring back trust for passengers and to create quality customer service, the railways will need to unbuckle and unshackle the innovation that is there within British and overseas industry. And Great British Railways will need to create that environment to make that happen. An innovative system with shared data, new forms of competition, which will enable new ideas to flourish. Open data, clear accountabilities, and a better line of sight over the investment pipelines and strategic needs will foster and ensure easy delivery of projects. This would enable rail to fulfil its potential, to catch up, and dare I say it, better the technology-driven services of other parts of the transport sector. So, in summary, I suspect many of you will never read the white paper. That's not important. What is important is that you see the impact of it. Operational efficiency in the hands of someone that you know is accountable for better customer service and the better operational efficiency of the railway. A long-term plan for rail which delivers an expansive rather than a reductive network and achieves good integration with other forms of transport. And finally, a technology-advanced railway fit for the 21st century, building on the creativity existing in current and new entrants into the industry. So one final word, as the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, do the difficult things while they're easy, and do the great things when they are small. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. In other words, we might have big ambition, but let's not procrastinate and let's get on with it. Thank you.